Hi, it's Kevin May in the PhocusWire studio. Delighted to be joined by Stephane Pingaud, you're the CEO of Flyiin. We finally meet. We've been talking on and off via email for many years, so thank you very much for coming on to talk to us.
Pleasure to be here and meet you in person.
Okay, so right, here we go. So, Airline Direct Connects, NDC, lots of people talking about it for many, many years. Where do you think this is all kind of currently shaking out, the debate around direct connects and things, specifically generally, rather than just what you do?
No, I do believe that the airline distribution landscape used to be driven by a certain, let's say, distribution technology where the intermediaries, the technical intermediaries, namely the GDS, were processing search and booking transactions on behalf of airlines. That was totally natural because of the nature of the airline product at the time and because of the, I would say, the scale that the GDS could deliver that was not possible on the airline side. Now, as the technology has evolved, something that is called API became sort of a norm for many companies to actually connect to another system. And it happened in many industries, and the airline industry is catching up. It does not naturally change the fact that airlines need to distribute to certain systems in order to reach certain point of sales. Yeah. But it does it differently, and it does it based on the understanding that the processing of transactions move from the middle to the supplier. Yep. So that's, I think, there's no revolution in the concept of distribution. It's just the way it's going to be done is differently. Now, having said that, the fact that we're moving to what I call an API ecosystems opened the doors to many things. It opened the door to the fact that other people, other companies will be able to sell their travel, and those people will want to develop flight products which are probably different than those that we are used to. Yep. So I think it's opened the door for more opportunities on the airline side to distribute their product differently, and it's opened the door to the market where you will have travel agency compete with new players.
Yeah, and it's opened the door for businesses like you to exist.
Exactly. So, acknowledgedly, it's easier to start with a blank page of paper and build a new system from scratch than adapting a new systems. Yeah. So that's true that when you get into a white page of paper, you can actually design a new system which is completely designed to support API distribution. Yeah. So yes, it's easy for new companies to build those new systems rather than the established company that have to modernize it.
Right, so let's move on a little bit about what you do in the business. So what has been the biggest challenge that you've had so far in the relatively short history of the business?
Okay, so I have to say the first challenge we were a little bit too early. And therefore, it was very difficult to get the investment community to pay attention to airline distribution because of the fact that it was relatively rigid with the ultra dominance of the GDS. Now that has changed, as you know, there's been more and more money coming into the space. So I think that is not going to be an issue anymore. There is a lot of investors that are looking more closely to that space. Now, I think the issue remains that it's a conservative industry and it is a slow industry. And a company like ours wants to work fast, can do things fast, and sometimes we rely on slow response time, slow decision time, both on the supply side as well on the demand side.
Okay, and you talk about the investment side of it being a bit of a challenge. Anything technically, or was that kind of wrapped up, would you say?
I mean,
because you knew what you were doing?
I mean, you need to be expert in airline distribution to understand the old world and the new world. You need to we basically take the headaches away from our future customers. Yeah. So you need to be focused on that. I don't believe personally that a company that is selling travel and start integrating with airline directly, that we've seen a lot of announcements. I think when it goes to 2 airline integration, 3 airline integration, 4 airline integration, the headaches arrives, and then you need to know how to deal with those headaches. So our job is actually to deal with those headaches.
So you're like the doctors of it all.
So when we have a new engineer coming in, we give him the standard laptop, t-shirt, and a box of aspirins.
Right. What are the challenges for the airlines, though, generally still? Is it that you talked about mindset and speed and all those kind of things?
The airlines are moving. So we see that. The large airlines have been the forward in that space. the others are following, and you can see an evolution in the mindset of airlines on how to address all of this. I think you will still have the long tail of the airline industry that will follow. So we're not going to have 400 airlines with 400 APIs next year. But as also the provider of system to airlines evolve and need to adapt to that new space, then I can see an acceleration in airlines being able to expose APIs to companies like ours. Yeah. And therefore we will be able to provide a comprehensive set of airlines with a comprehensive set of content. But there is a lot of opportunity for the airlines.
When you say, and please correct me if I've got this wrong, you say 400 airlines with 400 APIs. Is that the same type of API using NDC? Because if it's not,
well,
the whole point of NDC was to simplify and make a standard.
So you already have a difference today with the legacy airlines traditionally using NDC as a standard to design their API, although we have to be honest, every airline interprets it in a different way, so that's our job to make a single interpretation.
Right.
But you also have the low-cost airlines that have had APIs from day one and have developed APIs based on their own standards, on their own, and it's the richness or the sophistication of our platform to make no distinction between NDC and non-NDC.
Okay. Stephane, Pingaud, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure. Bye-bye.